Hello and welcome to the closing bell with me Yatin Mota, and this broadcast is live on Moneycontrol. As far as the market today are concerned, we had some selling pressure coming in for the IT stocks, because of which the market tanked almost 234 points, closing below that 19,750 mark. As far as Sensex is concerned, there also we saw about a dip of nearly 900 points. Mid-cap index also saw some profit taking at higher levels. The mid-cap indices, the mid-cap index was down nearly 0.4%. However, there was some bit of respite in the small-cap stocks, which are witnessing some correction, but at lower levels there was some bit of buying which came in. Today, some good news for the IPO markets. Utkarsh Small Finance Bank listed at a 92% premium to the issue price of 23 rupees, settling at the upper circuit limit of nearly 48 rupees per share. So, if you probably got the shares of Utkarsh Small Finance Bank allotted, you probably doubled your money on the day of listing. Sectorally, media, PSU and auto stocks did well. However, IT stocks, because of weak Infosys persistent system results, collapsed by nearly 4%. Now, if you look at the Nifty 50 today, L&T was among the top gainers because they will consider share buyback as well as special dividend along with the earnings this time. Shares ended by nearly 4% up. NTPC, ONGC, SBI were the other PSU stocks which dominated the gains on the Nifty. What didn't do well is the entire IT pack. As I said earlier, Infosys declined by nearly 10% intraday, settling down by nearly 8%. After the company cut their guidance as well as margin outlook for the coming quarters because of bleak outlook as well as customer spending and customer deferrals. Similarly, stocks of Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, Wipro also corrected in trade. Persistent system also delivered a weak set of earnings, especially margins were under pressure. Obviously, there were some one-off reasons also, but persistent systems also settled by nearly 5% lower. HUL also declared their results yesterday. The volume growth came in at 3% versus the street expectations of 5 to 6%. Obviously, the new management, Mr. Java, also explained the rural recovery, but probably that also failed to cheer investors, and the shares of Hindustan Unilever also fell by nearly 4% in trade. What was doing well in the mid-cap index was Tanla Solutions as well as India Mart. Tanla Solution, obviously the results were good. If you look at India Mart, they announced the share buyback, because of which the shares also moved by nearly 8%. Railway stocks like Railtel, RITES, RVNL also moved by 5 to 6% on the expectations of higher order flows coming in from the railways. McDowell after earnings moved by nearly 7% higher. In the mid-cap end of the market, we had CIE India, Persistent Systems, KPIT Technologies, Dalmia Bharat, all of these stocks falling anywhere between 4 to 5% on the back of weak earnings. Now, if you look at the stocks which are on our radar today, let's start first with Infosys. Now, if you look at Infosys, the stock in focus today, we had the company which cut their overall revenue guidance to a new band of 1 to 3.5%, which was earlier 5 to 7%. So, clearly a large amount of revenue guidance cut would mean lower growth, and hence pressure on the valuation as well as the stock price. We had the brokerages like Nomura, Macquarie, all of them downgrading the stock of Infosys. In fact, Nomura downgraded the stock to reduce. They also cut the target price to a level of 1210 versus the previous target price of 1260. Now, Nomura says that the weakness in growth magnifies with the guidance cut. They say that the company, which is Infosys, is set to underperform the entire IT sector moving forward, given the guidance has been bleak. In fact, lowering of guidance for Infosys reflects the pullback of discretionary demand and slow decision making of clients, especially in the US as well as Europe. Now, we spoke to a couple of IT companies, and most of them were of the view that the clients are on the wait and watch mode, and probably for the next 2 quarters there is no particular visibility for order inflows, and hence companies like Infosys as well as Persistent Systems were slightly cautious as far as the revenue guidance was concerned. So, yes, when it comes to the margin outlook, the revenue outlook, most of the IT companies starting TCS also mentioned the fact, but the real correction for IT stocks came in trade today. So, let's see how does the earnings shape up for the IT companies in coming quarters, because probably for the next 2 quarters there will be a lot of uncertainty. Moving on to our next stock, which is HUL. Here also we had Jefferies, which downgraded the stock to a target price of 2770, which was almost 100 rupees lower than their previous target price. Now, Jefferies believes that the weak growth, which is the volume growth, which came in at 3% versus the expectations of 5 to 6%, reflects there is still pain with respect to demand. They say that the lower cost benefits have not yet come in. Probably in the coming quarters, they would like to watch out for the margin performance. Also, we had the EBITDA, which was a miss, given the fact that moving ahead also we could see some slower pickup in volume growth according to the management, and also the outlook is cautious given the fact that there are a lot of macro tailwinds also. Obviously, for rural markets, monsoon would be a play. There are a lot of other inflationary concerns which surround FMCG companies typically in these times, and probably because of sticky demand as well as sticky inflation, things would remain more or less unchanged for the FMCG companies according to brokerages. Now, probably that is the reason why the shares of HUL also fell by nearly 4% after opening flat. So there was gradual downtick and the stock closed almost at the day's low. So the stock in focus, Infosys HUL, have been discussed. I would be on the earnings of Reliance Industries, which would be coming in a few minutes from now. Also, Kotak Mahindra Bank will be reporting their earnings tomorrow. So clearly, two big Nifty companies, or rather index companies, Kotak Bank and Reliance, will report their earnings. And if their earnings are probably good, we could see some light at the end of the tunnel on Monday also in terms of the recovery on Nifty. Probably everybody is expecting that 20,000 on Nifty is here, but probably Infosys results played a spoiler here. Let's see whether or not Reliance Industries and Kotak Bank's results help Nifty reclaim the 20,000 mark very, very shortly on the Nifty. So fingers are crossed, and we hope 20,000 comes very, very shortly and in a short period of time. Do enjoy your weekend and keep watching Moneycontrol as well as CNBC Awaz for all your business news updates as well as results analysis. Stay tuned.